for us to being used by God. It's dangerous to become hard-hearted and develop a seared conscience so that we cannot really tell if we're doing anything wrong or not. One way to develop a tender conscience is by repenting quickly if God convicts us of something and by not making excuses for our behavior. When God shows us that we have done something wrong, we need to say, "You're right, Lord, I'm wrong. There is no excuse, so please forgive me and help me not to do it again." It's amazing how much that will help us to have a tender conscience toward God. But as soon as we start trying to reason things out and make excuses for our wrongs, we start to get a little callous in our consciousness. It becomes just a little bit harder for us to feel than it was the time before. For example, if I mistreat someone without repenting, my conscience starts to become calloused. And next time I do it, my conscience becomes a little more calloused. So soon, although I go around presenting myself as a person who loves God, he can't use me anymore because I'm mistreating people and talking down to them and talking wrongly to them. The worst thing is that I don't even realize that I'm doing it because I no longer have a tender heart and a tender conscience towards God. So we must remember that God does not care how gifted or talented we are. His primary concern is the attitude or the condition of our heart. If we have willing hearts, stirred up hearts, wise hearts, perfect hearts, and tender consciousness, then the devil has no real threat in our lives or to us in our future because nothing can stop God from using us. And Acts 23:1 describes a good conscience that Paul had. He said, "Brethren, I have lived before God, doing my duty with a perfectly good conscience until this very day." How many of us can go to bed at night saying, "Well, Lord, I can go to sleep with a perfectly good conscience"? The Lord does say that we need to go to bed not angry. So we have to also make sure that we go to bed with a good conscience, that we treated people right every day. So Paul goes on to describe what he did to keep his conscience tender heart. "Therefore, I always exercise and discipline myself, mortifying my body, deadening my carnal affections, I said it right, bodily appetites and worldly desires, endeavoring in all respects to have a clear, unshaken, blameless conscience, void of offense toward God and toward men." That's Acts 24:16. Why did Paul strive to keep a clear conscience? Because he knew he would not minister to others out of a hard heart. He knew that if he wanted to help people, he had to keep a tender conscience towards God. And I believe all of us should pray regularly, "Lord, help me to have a tender heart and a tender conscience towards you." And I agree. I think that having that tender heart with the help of the Holy